everybody. Timberwolves lose 120 something to 1 something. Close enough. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like the video. And Ashwin, actually, if you think Embiid has an unfair whistle, hit the like button. We should have at least 100,000 likes on this video by the end of this video.
Press
But
one in
Ashwin, how are you feeling?
Doing all right, my friend. I think we were probably supposed to lose this game. It was written in the ref's pocket. We were playing 8-on-5, and we had a no-show from Gobert for most of the game, and we couldn't really establish our identity on the court on either end. We were getting some Herculean moments from Jaden McDaniels, and an attempt from Shake Milton that didn't matter at all. I'm okay with a loss like this. Like, I felt like it was a very frustrating game to watch, very like eye gouging. Like, why is this being called the way it is? Like, the ball was, like everything went Philly's way for the most part. And
Yeah.
I was kind of like thinking at the end of last game, are we becoming a mentally tougher team? Are we becoming like a cohesive, nothing can phase us team, even like those, double-digit deficits? And I think we still need to work through things. You know what? I think it's a good, healthy loss to have a loss like this, to have film. We don't have no time to adjust now because we're playing the Lakers tomorrow, which is crazy. But
yeah,
this is going to be good film for us to like look at when we have a chance to and say, hey, what can we fix? What are the rotations that need to be fixed? And even like just a good hard look internally. Can I play a little bit different? Can I play harder? Can I get those 50-50 balls? Can I will my team to victory? Like some people tried. And, anyways, that's what my thoughts are. How about you? What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, we've just won so many games this season that it just felt like the law of averages. We had to lose one at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not what I'm fully chalking this game up to, because I think we did play with a decent amount of fight tonight. But like you said, there was just a lot of things going against us. And, I'm not going to try to make this whole thing about the refs, because really the second half was a lot better ref-wise than the first half was terrible. And I don't care what side you're on, it was terrible in favor of the 76ers. But the last half of the game, I mean, we got to finally see Embiid just play normal, and it was like somewhat more enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, this is a tricky one. We do have a back-to-back. We play the Lakers tomorrow. The Lakers, I did not realize this until Jim Pete and Grady said this. They also have a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that, I mean, I wasn't hoping, but like I was thinking that we were the only ones that had the back-to-back, and we had to fly back to Minneapolis, and then they're just waiting there for us. That's not how it is. It's going to be tricky for both teams, but that favors us. But yeah, I mean, just disappointing. And I have to jump ahead in the comments a little bit and skip ahead. GG's, Grayson. GG's. I'm a sports betting guru. Congrats, Grayson. I put it in 60-year subscriber mode before the stream so that you couldn't comment, but you're here anyways. Anyways, that's how I feel. I'm not too down. I'm not going to let myself get too down about any losses. We're 20-7 or whatever. So like, I'm not going to get too sad about one loss to one of the best teams in the East. 20-6? I thought it said 20-7. Hey, I'll take 20-6. It is 20-6. You're right. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. But no, I'm not going to get too down about it. I mean, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into the tier list here shortly. Start talking about that stuff. But yeah.
This is a tale of two different players and two different play styles, and I think two different identities as well. Not the teams; they're different teams already, but like Embiid versus Towns. Actually, it's been Embiid versus Towns this whole time, his whole career, and now now we have Gobert. And I think Gobert was getting cooked all game long. I think Gobert probably played himself out off the court, and this is a weird team to like say, Gobert, you're not necessarily needed right now, because what we needed to do was spread out Embiid, get Embiid out on the three-point line on defense, and then we can penetrate the lane. They had nothing. When Embiid went to the bench, they had nothing. They were very porous on D, and we could get to the line. We could get to the free throw, or we could get to the cup, but we shot ourselves in the foot. We had careless turnovers. Naz Reid wasn't able to play the way that I was expecting him to. Slow-mo was an
Yeah.
absolute zero. Zone busting, a slow-mo was an absolute zero. But most importantly, is Cat. I think Cat tonight, 8 for 13 from the floor. Sweet. 13 shots. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something a little bit like, if you look at the box score, I bet you 13 shots in the fourth quarter were Embiid's, right? Like, just straight up. Like, I'm not getting a hard pick on that, but like,
I know what you mean.
all right.
Yeah.
What else is he really, really good at? Oh, he's really fast. He's good with the ball in his hands, and he can, make a three if he wants to. He only shot 2 threes. I think there's a mentality where, yeah, you're professional, yeah, you're grounded, yeah, you played a phenomenal first half. I'll say that. But Embiid gets to his spots whenever he wants.
Every possession. Every possession. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of it is now we're like reluctant to even play defense on him because I don't want to get in foul trouble. I don't want to be the one who's like fouling out of this game. I don't think you should play scared. You really shouldn't play scared because then you let up, and then you get Embiid to shoot the mid range for the rest of the game uncontested.
Yeah.
My comment here is just I think Cat needed to be way more aggressive in that fourth quarter, way more aggressive in the second half. I gotta say, I barely saw him in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot of stories in this game. I mean, Embiid is obviously the main thing, and Maxey also turned it on in the second half. But I think what you were saying about Gobert, I mean, Gobert, we can't have this kind of game from a Gobert. Immediately he gets 2 fouls, and the first foul came within the first 30 seconds of the game. You have to understand. This is like something we would normally talk about with Cat. Like, you have to be smart enough in the early situations of the game. Like, just don't foul. Like, we need the defensive player of the year out there against the possible MVP again. Like that, you can't. And it wasn't even like they were guarding him. It was just in transition, this weird, like, loose ball foul. Like, I don't know. That drives me nuts. Just mental mistakes from somebody that you need to be your defensive anchor. And like, he was better in the second half. Like, we needed him. What he was doing in the second half of playing all passive, we needed that in the first half. And then you switch it around, and then sure, maybe you get called for some fouls in the second half, but you have 6 or 5 or whatever, 4 to deal with then. Just drives me nuts. Johnny 2X. This game exposed how much we need a backup center. When Rudy and Cat got into foul trouble, we really didn't have many options to turn it into. Oh, man.
You know who I feel like I'm going to be harping on Cat a lot, and I don't want to because it's not an anti-Cat prerogative here. But like, who had more attempts at the rim tonight than Cat? Troy Brown Jr. in the fourth quarter, right? In the fourth quarter alone, Kyle Anderson had more shot attempts than Cat. Naz Reid had more shot attempts. Shake Milton had the exact same amount. That's a problem, I think. In the fourth quarter, we had Embiid pop off for 12. We had Maxey pop off for 15. I mean, the stars rise to the occasion. They were, I feel like there was a moment in the balance where we were up and like 90 to 84 or something. And something happened where we couldn't really recalibrate when like Paul Reed went to the bench and like Embiid came back in. We just completely tanked any sort of aggression we had. And I don't know, a lot of it's just poise, a lot of it's just discipline, a lot of it's running a play and like maybe personnel even. Like you look at the lineup out there and Shake Milton slow-mo and like who's taking the shot? Why is it slow-mo and not Ant in the corner? Some nonsense there happening. And yeah, sure, it was great to see Finch get up for his squad and be like, hey, quit trying to protect Embiid and quit trying to make this game like this. And he got a tech for it or something. But
I like that. Yeah, the Finch stuff, he was both 50-50 to me because you're right. Like the standing up for the players, I like that. We haven't seen that. Also, I felt like it was a very calculated technical foul, trying to get people engaged again.
Yeah.
But then it also, like what we were talking about earlier, like, okay, Embiid and Maxey are able to do the same simple pick and roll at the top of the key every possession, and one of the two or both get open. Why do we not have that same ability? We have 3 players. I mean, really, we have 2 elite players like they do in Ant and Cat that should be able to get their own any possession. why aren't we doubling or doing something to change that? I mean, I get that Jaden's like a great defender and he's doing everything he can. But we like Maxi's going for 15 and a quarter. Can we stop that? Like, can we stop some amount of bleeding? There was things that I loved about Finch tonight and things that I hated about him, but it's kind of I don't even want to watch this game again because it'll be sickening to watch how many times Embiid just gets to that one spot and then or Maxi just gets open for a three behind him. And it's just they're incredible players. I'm not saying that we're just like allowing them to. I mean, we're allowing them to freely get shots up. They may still make those shots. They're that skilled, but we have to give it a shot. Like we have to try something. It just drives me nuts.
I agree completely. That's crazy. We just push a button, try something different. We try to lob to Gobert down 12. Like that's what our difference maker is. Like that's gonna happen, right? That's gonna change things. One thing that I noticed is we shot the same amount of threes that Philly does. Philly, not a great 3-point shooting team. We are, for some reason, slightly better at 3-point shooting than they are, but we just decided not to shoot the three tonight. Only 9 for 25, below suboptimal average. Not even giving ourselves roast beef, but we gave the Philly crowd free chicken.
We did.
Yeah, sure, we out rebounded them. Yeah, we maybe got some more assists and everything, but just like points off of turnovers and just turnovers really slowed us down because what happened was they are a slow team, but they could get out in transition on those leaks and those like long rebounds, and they pulverized us in those moments. And
Mhm.
Maxi is way too fast for us, and we had Jaden
Yeah.
on him. I think Jaden's an amazing, remarkable, like borderline A1 defender,
Mhm.
and he gets a soft whistle, of course. But he's also like a lengthy kind of on point defender. When Maxi just like bull rushes right or like sprints past you and or does a floater from the mid range, like Jaden's talents are maybe more suited to for another player. So like I felt like maybe we could have had more minutes for Nikhil, maybe Nikhil and Jaden together, more emphasis on getting Jaden the ball because Jaden was fucking popping off tonight. And we
He
just saw
was.
it only in the first half. We didn't see him again in the second half. Like it was really, really kind of not borderline controversial, but just like confusing.
Yeah, I see you have a comment up from Jacob about Kyle Anderson. I simply can't stand Kyle Anderson. Trade him. He's a liability on offense, and he is worthless outside of 5 feet from the basket. That'd be true. And Sabrina, catching up to comments, Kyle Anderson should be benched for Minot at this point.
Why not?
Kyle. Yeah, he is. There was a moment where I did like the idea of Kyle being out there and guarding Embiid because Embiid is pretty slow and slow mo can kind of just be and slow mo is not like small, like
Mhm.
he's pretty big for a wing. So there's like this ability to kind of keep him at bay, but yeah, unless he's within like those 5 feet push shots that he does, he has not hit I don't know if he's hit a three all season. Actually, I
And if
don't
he's
think
in
he
a mid
has.
range, beyond a
Yeah,
mid
or
range,
mid
not either.
range. It's really
Crazy.
bad.
It's a liability, an absolute liability, because like teams are now recognizing he's 1 for 11 from three or something for the season, so they're just staying
Yeah.
off of him. And even with like 100 feet space, he's not going to take that shot. So, um, yeah, I'm glad. This is weird to say. I'm glad we lose a game like this when it kind of doesn't matter. This is against a non-conference team, a non-divisional team. We're never really going to see them again for the season until it's like the finals. Yeah, cross our fingers, we don't see them, right? So,
Yeah.
or actually, I don't care.
Well,
Well, yeah,
I think I think we'd be okay. I'm not too
yeah.
concerned about like a 7-game series. That's different.
Mhm.
But tonight we just we could have made like if there's a game two, we make adjustments and we're clearly like okay, guys, understand that he's a foul merchant and don't touch him. Like just don't touch him, and then we see what happens. It's just but
Yeah. And but I do care about tomorrow. I really care about tomorrow, and I want to just like not get through the show, but just think about tomorrow as well while we
yeah.
still kind of reflect on tonight's game. I wonder what the locker room's like. I wonder what the post game chatter is going to be like. Are they going to talk about the refs? Are they going to talk about how blatant the game was called in favor of one team over another? And is that like that's an absolute issue in the NBA always, but like it's
Mhm.
really becoming more and more apparent. And maybe it's more and more apparent because we're good. Like when the
Yeah.
game sucked, and when like they would like sit out Embiid, we would still lose. We would play down to the competition in the former years. But now that Embiid's, now that we're good, now their teams are like either um, playing up to the competition, or they're playing all their players against us, and it's like the game is reffed a certain way, and I'm like the stars are getting the calls, but like, don't we have stars? Shouldn't we get calls? Shouldn't Ant
I,
get a call in his favor?
I don't get
It's
it.
crazy.
I
Like
just don't
that dunk on
understand it.
Embiid, shouldn't that be a call? Like, shouldn't that be
That has to
something?
be. Also, can we just default to if a player is about to posterize somebody, can we just automatically be an and one for the player? Just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Because it's probably a foul. Like, can we just in the ref's mind, can they just be like, you know what? It's gonna be a foul if there's any amount of contact. I don't care if the player wasn't moving. Because I'm so sick. And this isn't just, I mean, we've seen it a couple times now as Timberwolves fans, but this is happening all over the league where they do this hammer dunk and either there's no call or there's a charge called. No more charges on poster dunks. I want to see these dunks. Also, Ant is so dangerously close to getting dunk of the year.
Oh yeah,
Every game now he's trying.
I think
He's
he's
trying to get
trying,
it
and
for
I
the
love it.
AA1s.
I love
Yeah,
it.
he's trying to
Yes.
get a poster for the AA1s,
Yeah,
and it's gonna go crazy. But
dude, a
maybe
poster
he's
on
saving it for
Embiid.
LeBron tomorrow night.
Oh, so that was just a
By the
warm up.
way, Lakers are losing to the Bulls in the fourth quarter. Poverty. Okay.
Ever since the in-season tournament, they've been on a downward slide there.
They have. It's not good for them. I'm turning this game on in the background. I got to see this.
All right.
Cool.
And
Do you
hey,
want to get
real
into?
quick, shout out to all of you. Whenever the show was the other day, um, doing solo shows suck, Cameron. I know that you know this, and I sympathize with you. But holy crap! But from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys all for the support and letting me get through that with a broken camera and spirit.
Spirit, you did fantastic. You pulled 100 viewers by yourself.
Oh
I
man,
love
it was
it.
all yeah.
That was crazy. Great job. But
No, I didn't. Nope. We're moving on.
yeah. Okay. We're moving on. Just like Jarvis, done. Or what does he say? He says no or something. Or don't. He says don't. Sabrina, I thought you said you were 100% confident Shake would figure it out. Sabrina getting called out.
Nah. Oh man, it
Jay
was kind of
says
interesting. It was go ahead. Yeah.
Shake lost his last support.
This was a good game to try it out though. Like get his like montage on the screen, get him hyped for himself being like presented in a way where it's like, ooh, now you're facing your former squad that just chose not to re-sign you. Pop off. You popped off for nothing. Like an
He literally did
absolute
nothing.
zero. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what he's kind of been on our team. So like tonight would have been an absolute anomaly if he did anything. So
Yeah, it's just embarrassing to have him on our team right now. Well, we're talking player specifics. Do you want to jump into the tier list as I burp on stream?
burp. It was a wild ride. I was panic rushing to that shit. I was tripping.
Okay. All right. Tier list. For those of you that are new here, all of you aren't, but if you are new here, A1, unforgettably good game. Spoiler, there's none tonight. Glenn Taylor is you're terrible all the time. Wancho is you were terrible tonight. Everything else is everything in between. And we make the rules as we go, so we're never wrong. Ashwin, who's up first? And I'm kind of down with you started changing up the order, and I'm kind of down with it. So I'm leaving you up. I play God with the selecting, but you play God with who we go first with.
And on like Slow-Mo's best game of the season, I just skipped him. That was
That's right. We did skip Slow-Mo.
Maybe that was just it was like an omen, you know. You skip him, he's gonna just shit the bed. Speaking of him, in 12 minutes, 1 for 5 from the floor. They were all push shots. He was awful. No stats recorded for anything else other than 2 turnovers, 2 points. I think this was a Wancho. I think this could be a Glenn Taylor. I think this could be. We need to readdress what this tier list is for us because A slow-mo that is a Wancho,
Ooh.
I can tolerate in a weird way because what he does is he plays his role, he plays big, but maybe he's just not great offensively. I can tolerate that he's still a Wancho in that regard. But like, dude, like that's like there are probably levels, there are layers. There's like, you know, Wancho's like starting a movie, like maybe that's like we're giving him praise there.
Yeah. Should we be rebranding it to the Shake Milton tier?
Ooh, now that I can get on board.
Shake Milton, because he actively, the thing with Wancho is that he was actively taking away from us every game that we put him in, and that is exactly what Shake is doing right now.
We'll throw Shake and Slow-Mo together. We're not even going to talk about you, Milton. I want to put you guys both in the Glenn Taylor spot.
I think it's Glenn Taylor. It's sad. I do think Kyle was better. I know everybody's really hating on Kyle, and I'm not saying that I like Kyle tonight. And maybe I don't know. I have this weird like bias towards Kyle for some reason, but like I didn't hate him tonight. Like I wouldn't have personally probably put him in Glenn Taylor, but I think he was obviously very very bad. So
That's good. I mean, it's unfortunate news for the Lakers. I don't like to hear that, but I guess good news for us in terms of thinking about tomorrow. AD will be potentially looked at least, or
he's fine. He
questionable.
does this every game.
every quarter, yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like he literally does, or he gets
Yeah.
poked in the eye somehow. Like it's just every game.
Yeah. Outside of the
Okay.
Embiid calls, I think everything was like normal, right? So, and for some reason, Maxey gets the line a lot. And man, by the way, like what the fuck? The Sixers had Embiid and Harden at one point on this team, and they would get to the
Dude,
line. The games would be 4.5 hours.
they're at least like a little bit watchable now that they don't have Harden as well. But
welcome back, Godfrey.
Godfrey returns.
We have missed you, my friend.
Yes, Godfrey.
Are
you in Lakers streams now?
We did just lose, so that does track.
Does track. Yeah, Godfrey, you're here to comfort us in our losses.
Yeah. Troy Brown Jr., where are you? Where have you been? You were an A in our eyes, and you've been kind of nothing since. I don't know, in 10 minutes, 2 for 4 from the floor, you hit a 3, you hit 5 points. That's great. That's kind of what we need you for. But you were also bubkissed with 3 costly turnovers in your 9 minutes. I don't get it. Like, that can't happen. There's not enough possessions in the game for you to just cough up, but you did. I think this is worse to see. I don't know if this is Wancho. I'll leave it up to you. There's a tier in between.
It's hard. I do think I'm in between D and Wancho right now because this was a bad game for him, and we've started to expect more from him. I might go Wancho, honestly.
Do how you feel, man. How the mouse tracks your mind.
Oh my gosh, where is it going? And it's going Wancho. Sorry.
This is true. Noah, this is absolutely true. I think even with him playing solid defensively.
Yeah, see, I think that's why I'm like not hating him right now. I get that on offense, it's just a terrible, like taking you out of momentum kind of plays, but he does play solid defense.
We overly rely on him on when he's in the game. I think we always just try to get the ball to him. We feed him and we let him run whatever we need to do. I don't know if I appreciate that all the time, especially when he doesn't have his shot going. When he's in the corner, I kind of like it to some degree because he's not involved in some of the offensive sets. But then he's in the corner. He's never going to shoot from there. So it's almost like we're just biding our time. So I think we need to get confidence injections and shots injected into his butthole so that he can come aggressive in his as we need him, as we saw him last year. Like where is that? Where is that Slow-Mo?
I don't know. He needs to do what Embiid was doing, and apparently Embiid was like going back to the locker room in between plays and several times tonight. Like, apparently, I didn't see that, but they talked about it on the broadcast. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyways, I put him in Wancho. And by the way, guys, little intermission. If you want to see the Timberwolves beat the Lakers tomorrow, or if you think the Timberwolves are going to beat the Lakers tomorrow, leave a like on the stream. We're trying to get to 50 likes. Let's get to 50 likes. See if we can do that.
Road to 1,000 subs.
And road to 1,000 subs. We are actually well on our way to 1,000 subs.
Because we're gonna get some skims.
Gonna get some skims. They were only 125 away. Whoa.
We're talking about Miller a little bit in chat. That's cool. I think I'm loving the fact that we don't have to rely on young dudes, but it might not be a bad thing to just like try someone. But like, 3-minute stint, what do they really offer? I'm not sure. I would love for a blowout game in our direction where we're popping off for 30 or something in the fourth quarter, so that we can have like 8 minutes of,
more than just like the garbage time of like 2 or 3 minutes, like we did the other day. Like we need full garbage time of like a quarter.
Oh,
we never do that.
Okay, and then finally, our ace in the hole off the bench, and actually that's not final, but Naz Reid, 20 minutes, 4 for 9 from the floor, 10 points, 2 for 6 from 3. I don't know if this was his worst game of the season, not as a Timberwolf, but boy, was he food for Philadelphia. Tobias handled him. Paul Reed handled him. Embiid was like, he was laughing whenever Naz Reid was switched on him. And I think Naz had like Vando Butterfinger fingers tonight. I'm giving Naz Reid, unfortunately, a Wancha.
Whoa, hot take. Everybody, shame Ashwin in the comments. It might also be a Wancho for me. Yeah, he just got cooked every single time. And part of this could be us putting him on Embiid in the beginning, because then he's kind of this, he's become our whiner now when we're talking about like refs and getting calls and stuff like that. He's the one that is always complaining, very Towns-esque of like 5 years ago. And he is fouling them, but it's frustrating. So, yeah, I don't like, he made a couple shots tonight that were really nice, but I think this was a night where, honestly, when we got to the fourth quarter and they like, it was when we had like Shake and was it Shake and Kyle out there, I think, and then they're like, you know what, they got to bring in Naz for some offense, and I was like, I'm not looking forward to this. And obviously, normally you're like, yeah, we want Naz in there for offense, but tonight I just like wasn't feeling it. And then defensively, he just got cooked. So I kind of think people are saying it's harsh. Wancho is aggressive for Naz. Harsh. Naz's deal, it wasn't his fault. Okay. Naz Reid was not a Wancho. Yes, he was. Basically,
2x.
I mean, we can do D'Lo.
I like it.
D'Lo.
I like it.
Naz Reid negative 27 with 4 turnovers. Holy. Yeah.
And yet I wanted more from him. Like I wanted more. I'm sorry, more of him on the court. It's kind of crazy to say that out loud with a game like this, but he shot 6 times from 3, and our starter who did not. So like, I don't know. I want those possessions. I want those 3-point shots. I want us to shoot more aggressively from 3, and at least Naz knows his skill set, and I like that about him. And I'm not questioning the mid-range leaning, like, jump shot that Cat did. You know what I mean? So, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I love his game. I think maybe the box score doesn't do it justice, but in 15 and a half minutes, 2 for 3, he didn't make a 3. He had a couple assists, and he had 4 points. I'm giving him a C. Not anything higher, but not anything lower. I think
this was Conley you're talking about?
This is Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Oh. Walker. Yeah, see. Wow, he was in negative 24 too.
But look at this.
Give the man a watch.
Do it. Yeah, Solidus T, welcome back when we lose. But you all got to relax, though. You were all talking like the Wolves' last 5 games in a row. Relax, they lost to a good team. Chill out. We're chilling. I'm not freaking out. I'm not anything. But thanks for that. I think you did bring up that. Go ahead.
I need you to tune into the beginning of the stream one time, just so you can hear our real reactions immediately, because we are not that down. Maybe you're talking to people in the chat, but we're really not that down.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something about Embiid doesn't get these calls in the postseason. Yes, he does. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Who? Oh yeah, we were on yeah, C. Right? Is C a fair or is that too high? I mean,
I
he
think it's
played decent
fair.
defense.
I think it's fair. And Mason, playing champion himself, says C is fair.
Hey, I
Finger
like
roll
it.
on Embiid was pretty nasty. Was
That
pretty
was
sweet.
actually. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's a C. He's a C.
To the
Now it's probably
starters.
Mike Conley.
Yeah, and to the starters. Before we start with the starters, what do we do here on the show?
We complain about Towns. No. We. What do we do on the show? What do we do on the show?
Oh shit! Sorry. I think you usually say before we get to the starters.
Oh,
Don't
before we
forget
go to the
to.
starters, like the stream, subscribe
Yes.
to the channel. We're halfway to our like goal of 50. If we get to 50, virtual high five. I still can't buy tickets; they're too expensive.
Yeah.
We will be doing giveaways again eventually, but we're just in a very bad, expensive. Lakers tickets tomorrow start at like $100, so um, that's crazy. Anyways, Mike Conley. You're okay with doing Mike Conley first?
Yeah. 26 minutes, 9 points, 4 assists, a couple turnovers. Um, I like when he's sneaky, but he also tends to run away from the game at times and not be part of it. And I really wanted him to wake up. I wanted him to wake the rest of the team up, and I didn't think we saw much of him. And I don't know. I feel like a C might be worth a grade for him for tonight.
You said a C might be too high.
I think a C is probably valid.
Okay, yeah. C, I think C is valid. There was moments where it felt like because you said like he was running away from the game. I feel like there was moments where it was like, oh, here comes the Mike Conley 3, and if we keep doing this, he might be this one that keeps us afloat while like the others are starting, or like the defense on like Towns and Ant, whether it was actually good or they're just struggling to find their own shots. They were struggling, so it was like we needed that Mike Conley boost to kind of ease up on the others. And it felt like that was happening, and then it just died off. Like there was no more shots. We did more of like the dribbling at the 3-point line. Nobody's moving. So I don't know. I think C is valid, and that's where I put him.
Nice. Rudy Gobert, 24 minutes, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 fouls. Most importantly, no threes. Rudy Gobert, I'll hand it off to you on a silver platter, but I don't think this was his game. I don't think any part of this game he was impacting. And typically, what he does is scare away offensive attackers, and they don't really have that many of them. They have Maxey, but he just stops short and does a floater, and he shoots a 3, so he doesn't care about Embiid really. And
you can't scare people off when you're in foul trouble and not on the court. And you take yourself out of the game within 30 seconds. So I am very down on Rudy tonight. This is just tonight. Don't worry. I'm not like suddenly thinking Gobert is the worst player in the world. I'm just talking about tonight. But tonight was very frustrating to watch because we needed Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert against MVP Embiid. We needed it, and we didn't get it. And not only did we not get it, he took himself out immediately, which is the thing that drives me the most insane. We can't have 2 fouls on him in the first however many minutes of the game, and then he has to sit deep into the second quarter. Then he comes into the second quarter and isn't dominating Paul Reed, who was basically trying to give us the game at points. It was just a super annoying night for me. I'm still obviously on the season very high on Rudy Gobert. This was just a very bad night, and I didn't like his mental errors that he was making very early, because then he started playing he had to play very soft defense in the second half, which what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I wish he would have swapped that. Play super soft, don't foul, let Embiid, if he's going to do what he did in the second half and the first half, let him do that. But then the second half, turn it on. Then you have 4, 5, 6 fouls to play with. I'd much rather have that instead of the beginning of the game fouling immediately. So, I know I'm talking crazy right now about him, like he was like Glenn Taylor tier or something like that. But I think it's probably like D'Lo or Juancho.
The numbers back it up. In 3.5 minutes, he did absolutely nothing on the court in the first quarter, and so then he comes back in the second quarter, and he plays 8 minutes. But most of those minutes are without Embiid on the court because Embiid played the entire first quarter. And then you look at the third quarter, and he played all of like half of it, and in those moments, like Embiid cooked. Embiid cooked in the third quarter. 20 points. So like his value on the court, even when he was on the court, because he had to play such a different style of basketball than he's used to, because the refs were softer on him, and or he was playing a little bit, too handsy. Like I don't know, you've been seeing Embiid take over this league for years. Like you got to use your body, you got to use your fundamentals. You can't use your arms and or head. So I don't know. Pretty sad to see that from our defensive guru. On the other end of the spectrum, Jaden McDaniels, Big D McDaniels, gave the crowd a show, and as well as free chicken in early in the fourth quarter, so they could just stop caring about it. But in 38 minutes, 21 points. That's kind of remarkable. That is maybe we've seen that 2 or 3 times this in his career. Especially one time versus Memphis. That was awesome. But 21 points, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line, 3 rebounds, a steal, and just kind of incredible patience with the game. That's a weird thing to talk about, but he was very patient tonight, and he gave Philly all the stops, man. He was trying his best on both ends, and I think in the first half he was given the green light to shoot. I think in the second half, I think this is a coaching issue. I think this is a Finch issue. We didn't go back to the hot hand. We didn't go to the place that was getting us kind of in the game. And I'm giving Jaden an A, but you could give him something else. But most importantly, we didn't see what we saw in the first half and the second half from him. And that's not. I don't know if that's on him, because Cat wanted his shots, Ant wanted his shots, but most importantly, we were just not looking for Jaden, and that was kind of a problem for me.
This is what we paid Jaden for. We want him to be this other additional offensive threat, and he scored basically everything in the first half and saw nothing in the second half. I was so pumped because before the game started, I called on Twitter that Jaden was going to have a career high night in points scored, and I looked like a genius in the first half. It looked incredible. It's the first time I ever praised. It's the only time I've ever praised Jaden. He's actually done well. And then he comes out, and it's the coaching issue. So I think it's an A. Could have had an A1 McDaniels night. I guess you could make the argument that he was getting. I mean, I don't want to say cooked by Maxey, but he was getting beat by Maxey and the Embiid screens and stuff like that. But that's, again, somewhat of a coaching, more idealistic kind of how you're going to approach the situation coaching wise. So that's less him. Wow. I don't know what the heck just happened. I hallucinated and thought I saw Sabrina was in here with us. Oh. That was really weird. I was like, what the heck just happened? By the way, shout out Sabrina. Or Brittany, as they call you. Anyways, it's an A for McDaniels. Easy A for McDaniels.
Sabrina playing champion herself. Jin and Jenda strengthened tonight for sure. What's also really cool is Ant was kind of I wouldn't say a no-show in the beginning of the game, but he was. I would say he had his spots, but it was kind of late in the game and late in the quarter. And, Gobert with foul trouble, Conley not really getting anything going. Nasri started the game, especially in the first quarter, 0 for 4. So he was a nothing. It was amazing to have yet another player. So you can't game plan for us because it's Ant, it's Cat, it's Jaden, it's Nas. It's all the above can pop off. And, yeah, I think I'm hoping that we see more Jaden in our offense, in a flow, and we can get to double digits on a routine. So it's not just 9 or 8 points, but like amazing stats that don't necessarily get recorded. But we see like 15, 16 points from him tonight, because I feel like it definitely also then translates to the other end. He plays a different style of defense when he's also rewarded on the other end.
Yeah, but disappointing to not see more Jaden in the second half. So
yeah,
A for him, could have been A1.
Philly is very top heavy, man. They have Embiid, they have Maxey, they got supporting cast that just lets them pop off. Yeah, they popped them, Embiid popped off at 51 tonight. That's insane.
Yeah.
On the other end, we had a 40-point, effort from Cat the other day, 37 from Ant the other day as well. And then we had like more of a balanced output from all of our dudes last game. Tonight is more of the same, but I think Karl-Anthony Towns in 38 minutes, 9 for 14, which is amazing.
That
But
is
only
amazing.
14 shots, 23 points, 13 rebounds. Went to the line a bunch, hit most of his free throws except for that tech. And he had 4 turnovers. Yeah, he had 4 fouls, but I don't know how to grade him, because my not my agenda or anything tonight, but like my commentary, my whole like point that I was trying to make and trying to continue to make is Embiid knows his role. Embiid takes over. The team supports it. The team emphatically designs game plans around how he can get the ball all the time. But for some reason, Cat kind of sags off. Cat kind of shies away. Cat doesn't get open. Cat doesn't get to his spots. Cat tries unique things. And I don't think there's a lot of room. There's not a lot of room for that. I maybe when we're blowing teams off, when we're like completely, up by 30 stuff. Then is the time to kind of try something stupid. But like, I don't necessarily need a deviation or a departure in your game to do things like the fadeaway midi, or like a post up that takes 10 seconds. I don't need those plays. I need the drives and I need the threes. And we didn't get the threes, we got the drives. You know what I really loved in that first half was those putbacks that he was so used to doing in prior seasons that he kind of has shied away from to a degree that I actually I prefer, because sometimes he's behind the play. I'm talking a lot about basically, I wish Cat did more tonight. I wish Cat took this challenge of Embiid's popping off. Why can't I?
Yeah, I think I have slightly different feelings about Cat than you do. I felt like Cat was one of the only things working really well for us consistently tonight. I do agree with your statement though, that like we were talking about in the beginning of the show, like Embiid is able to find a spot that he is comfortable in every single possession. We have nobody on our team that does that. Maybe Ant to some degree, but he doesn't convert on the level that Embiid does. Of course, Embiid has been in the league longer, but it's Ant is the only one that gets close to that. And Cat, I feel like, is always in a spot that's like disadvantageous to him. Like he always has to fight through somebody to get to the rim, or he has to like do some crazy acrobatics to get out to 3 to get his open shot. And the times that he does get open shots from 3, he hesitates. But I do think that he was probably pretty. I think he was like the main play. Like he was the one making things happen against Embiid. He was flexing on Embiid. This is one of the first games where I was like, yeah, let's flex on him. Because Cat was cooking. So I felt really good about Cat today.
All right.
Of course, I always want to see more threes, though. I get that the driving is working for him right now, but he is the best. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and you can't have one of the best 3-point shooters in the league shoot 2. So could be coaching, it could be something else, but yeah.
I think there's just a willingness to chuck. Like I want him to get that straightened out, because we need 3-point shooting in a game where like we're down by 12. I don't want to lob to Gobert. I don't want to drive to the lane. I need a 3. We need momentum. We need a score, stop, score. If we're not getting stops, we need to score more, right? I'm not bashing Towns. It sounds like it. It sounds like I'm critical right now. He played a remarkable first half. He was kind of hiding in the second half. You look at the box score, it's very clear. You look at what he was doing out there, he was shy. Defensively, he was shy playing defensively because he was getting
He
those
had to be,
really
though.
soft calls. But yeah, he had to be. I get it. But even Jim Pearson called that out even at one point. Yeah, it's just it's okay. It's just a loss. It's just an L. We're 20-6. Like, I'm not mad. There's no like bad blood here regarding this. It's just in a game like this where maybe it meant a lot to win because we've seen some gutty performances from this team. We didn't push that valve to 10. We didn't press the gas and play more with more pace. I don't know.
And I'm gonna mention a comment. I'm not gonna say the name because they're being disrespectful, but they bring up a valid point. Cat does not get the foul calls from these refs, and that is true. Cat is falling over, which I want him to stop, but he's falling over every time because he's getting contact. All of these plays where he is driving, if Embiid did this, he would have every single play, even more so than he does now, fouls called, and Cat just doesn't get those calls. Part of that's from narrative from the past. Part of that's from, who knows. But it's disrespectful to Cat to not be calling these at least 50% of his drives fouls because compared to Embiid, they're fouls. But yeah. And be careful in chat, everybody. We got mods, and they're not afraid to ban you. In fact, there's certain people that I kind of want to ban.
Yeah, we're just a vibes check in here, post-game chatter. We're just a community around our team. I don't know if we need to say yes or no to whatever is being said. It's pretty sad that, like, some people are taking random comments on the internet personally and or attacking people. That's, like, not what we're about. So if that's what you're about, get the fuck out. So, all right. But thanks for your thumbs on the way up.
Yeah, like the stream, buddy.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, 27 points in 36 minutes. He went 9 for 20 from the floor, but a lot of those were just reaching, like just trying to find a rhythm somewhere because he was having a hard whistle. Like, I thought he got to the line enough, but, like, man, I don't think the whistle was kind to him. 2 for 6 from 3, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. He had some rebounds, 7 rebounds, in fact, 5 assists. Our boy does it all. I feel like we are just watching greatness. Like, there are moments where he's a little too trigger happy. He's not looking for other players. But then you saw that pass in between the lane, for a killer Gobert dunk. I love that play so much.
Yes.
That is just the experience and the time that it takes to get him to that level. He's getting there, playing above his expectation at times because we're putting labels on him now, and he's getting there. He's reaching these milestones at an unprecedented pace. I don't know if I'm giving him an A.
I'm not giving him an A either. But the thing, to add to your comments, a lot of the time we like to compare Cat and Ant. It's tricky, though, because Ant's been in the league, 3 or 4 years, and Cat's been in the league 8 or 9 years. So it's like there's levels to it. So we can't just do this because one player's still new and one player's a vet. So I feel like it's still a B. I think it's a B because there were so many moments tonight where it was like, yeah, there's Ant, and like he hits like a clutch 3 to put us up 6 at some point when it was like they were making a run. I think that was in the third. I can't remember. But there were just all these Ant buckets that you see. We did miss Ant a lot in clutch time. We didn't have that same clutch that we had against the Heat, So, like, there's that element of it. And somebody said in the chat, I missed it. It already went by. But, actually, you have it up on the screen. Ant B, but that's just because of really high standards for him. We do have high standards for him. Like, it's not like we don't have the highest of standards for him because he has convinced us that he is now the second coming of MJ. And he's shown that he can do that on occasion. So I think it's a B. I like maybe B minus. I don't know, but that's just because of my expectations. My expectations are so high that I'm looking at a 27-6 and 5 game and being like, maybe this isn't great.
Yeah. it did get him 20 shots to get there, but I'm not really mad at the fact that he's hunting. He's hunting for shots
Yeah.
because he's aggressive, because he needs to be aggressive, because his role is to be aggressive, and on any given night he can be 15 for 20, or 12 for 20, or like pop off for three, and like so
Mhm.
we can see all these like variances in his shot selection. But I thought like the shots that he was taking were tough because Philly plays tough. Philly's a
Yeah.
top 10 team in the league for a reason, top 5 team in the league right now. So like how do you kind of cut through it, And sometimes when Gobert's not there for him, when the screens aren't there set for him in the right way, he has to kind of do it on his own. And I
Yeah.
give him major props for it. I'm not giving him an A tonight, despite that stat line. How remarkable is that comment, from Sabrina? Like he's maturing. He's seeing the floor. He's able to pass these passes where he couldn't pass before because he didn't know. He couldn't lob,
Yeah.
and now he's able
Yeah.
to.
He
And
still is struggling with the lob, which kind of drives me nuts because he has opportunities to lob it to Gobert, and he's just too scared. And he does this thing where he kind of pulls two defenders and then does this like MJ turnaround, which I guess is like effective for him. But like if we could just learn to lob, I think that would be a huge W. But and like you said, the refs didn't treat him fairly either. I mean, there's just a lot of reffing things going on. He got a technical tonight. I don't know. There's times when other star players in the league will get a technical, and then after that, it turns it around, and the refs are like, you know what, you're right. We're gonna start treating you more fairly. And when we get technicals, it's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, did you make a noise?
you're not getting any more calls tonight because you've disrespected me. And then you can see somebody like LeBron literally stomping and like hitting the floor, and it's like, okay, yep, we're gonna start respecting you now. I get it. LeBron's the best player in the league. He deserves all the respect, whatever. But yeah. So,
Did you know? I
anyways,
mean, according to Eric, I guess Eric is probably a Philly fan. I don't know much about Philly, honestly, other than the Embiid Maxey show. They're missing some players. Oh, all right.
are they?
Wouldn't know, but
Yeah,
I
I
do
don't
know
know.
that they lost Melton in the first half. But they had Patrick Beverly, and I thought Patrick Beverly played well in his moments. So,
I didn't even
um,
realize Mo Bamba played tonight. I
well,
didn't even know Mo Bamba was on their team.
yeah.
What the heck?
This is a question that we could probably dive into, or we can kind of punt for another day. But uh, trade deadline, the trade deadline is looming. It's not. I don't think there's like a gray cloud over our heads or anything. But this is like our year, right? Like this is our year to make noise. Not just a 7-game series. We want multiple. We want to get as far as and deep as possible. And sometimes we reach. Sometimes we are hoping and praying and crossing your fingers that ants like card shots go in and can't find something, But we need that third, fourth option, and sometimes we don't have it reliably every game. Do we make a move? I'm not sure, Cameron.
I've been very anti talking about a move because it's like we were 20-5, so it's like I was just talking to my dad actually last night about this because I was like, there's some crazy trades that you could start to get into if, say, this season doesn't work out, because obviously we have a lot of money on our books, we have a lot of talent on our team, and if you wanted to make that make more sense, you could maybe trade certain players for other certain big players, but we don't need to be doing anything big. Obviously, we're talking small moves. um, I saw this on Twitter today and it made me think, and I probably shouldn't want this, but it would be pretty fun to have Ricky Rubio come back.
Oh,
Rubio as a bench player, he's played with Gobert. He's been a backup point guard now. He's been in Minnesota. He's played with Karl Anthony Towns. He's played with Ant. Ant loved him. Um, I just, it would be fun. I don't know how beneficial that would be to the team. I don't know what he is like. He hasn't played basketball in a long time, so I don't know if that would be any bit of benefit to us, really. But it would be a feel good story. It would feel really good. And I just got chills thinking about it like earlier today when I saw it on Twitter, and I
wow.
was like, oh man, that would be fun. But
Uh, my
yeah,
favorite player before Ant to don a Timberwolves jersey. So I would love it. I would welcome it. I don't know if he's up for it anymore. I think a
yeah,
third stint with a team is like I feel like we did him dirty when we when we got him for 1 year and then we traded him or we let him go and stuff like that. I really didn't like how we traded him for Teague either. Like that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Anywho, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like to like ruffle the feathers right now because we're gonna find with something within, right? Like in our Denver series, we found something that was working, but it was within. We didn't make any like dramatic shifts to our rotation or anything. It was just we found something and we were working with it, and then we built something from that to now.
Mhm.
So why change things when one blip in the system happens a couple times where we
Yeah.
lose to the Pelicans, we lose to the Sixers here, and
Like, if
it
we go
can't
on a
be all one or one the other. We can
Yeah,
lose a
if
little
we
bit.
go on
It's
a
okay.
streak if we go on a streak of losing where it's like, wow, we can tell we have an insane weakness at backup point guard, then maybe we can start exploring some before you move on. Sorry.
Oh,
Before you,
sorry.
um, my 2 thoughts on it are, 1, where's McLaughlin? He's not hurt. So,
Mhm.
like, why isn't he playing right now? I feel like that should be happening. And then 2, this seems to be Tyus would be like the most if we were to get to that realm of having those conversations, I still think you don't really want to ruffle the feathers, like you said, because we're fine right now. But if it gets worse, and if we aren't going to use McLaughlin, or if he's cooked as well, then I think you have second round draft picks to play with. You've got bench players that you could trade. I mean, for salary, that's an option. And then just to touch on this, the reason I bring up Ricky is because there was an article out today about the Pacers, or is it the
Mhm.
Pacers, like
Yeah.
cutting him or something.
Yeah.
So just like weird, kind of gross stuff again. I didn't just pull Ricky out of a hat like randomly. But yeah, so I don't know. I think right now I'd much rather rely on JMac and see what happens. And if that's
Okay.
really bad and we're continuing to lose games, then if we get down to we're like suddenly 20-11 or something like
Mhm.
that, then and we're like really looking bad in that way, and it's
Whoa.
not due to some other reason, then maybe. But
Whoa. 2011 sounds bad. When we were just talking about the standings the other day, and like we're 5 games ahead of the ninth seed, despite being like record
I know.
pace.
I hate it.
The Clippers are coming up. Lakers are coming tomorrow, and I don't
Right
know.
now, we're in a better spot. We're 6.5 games out of the 10 seed, which is a lot. That's a lot. So, but not
Yeah.
as much as I'd like it to be for being the 1 seed.
Well, the Philadelphia 76ers are 19-8. I think they're the second or third best team in the East. That East is
Yeah.
a top-heavy conference. Just wanted to say one more small thing. Cat went for 16 in the first half, and Embiid had 20. That's amazing. That's like amazing, like offsetting each other, right? They ended with 51 and 23. Kind of a big discrepancy.
That is.
And Maxi, 20 and 12, right? We had Jaden to kind of supplement all that, so that's okay.
Mhm.
They ended pretty neck to neck, 35 and 27, just like 6 to 8 points here and there. But Ant tried to take over the game and was like really, really aggressive in hunting his shots. And I feel like Maxi was mostly in the flow. And so something with what Philly's doing, we need to like kind of take a page out of and see how they are getting such remarkably efficient shots from their two dudes that
Mhm.
what we're game planning against.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you double Cat, he's freaking out. Like, but they're game planning against Cat. Like, that's a known thing. When you double against Ant,
Mhm.
he's learning and he's seeing the floor, as Sabrina said, and he's finding people, which is awesome. But he's also making some mistakes. Tonight, we didn't see a whole lot of mistakes from him. But just like, can we take a page to make sure that we can guarantee some great offense? Because
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
a lot of scrambling tonight.
No, it's just flow. That's the Finch's way, is flow. You just let
Mhm.
it flow, let it whatever is gonna happen, and then call it a W if you win. Um, Not that it's the same feeling, but we should watch Timberwolves Brazil.
Sure.
So this is after a loss. They said 20-6.
Oh no! I
No.
love that shit.
Timberwolves Brazil. Oh, this makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I feel okay. That's what I feel like right now. Oh, that's good. Okay. Cool. Well, tomorrow, upcoming schedule, we play the Lakers tomorrow at home. Easy W against a terrible Lakers team. Terrible Lakers team full of D'Lo, all the old Timberwolves. But no, Timberwolves play at home, Lakers. Then they play the Kings on Saturday, and the next Tuesday they play the Oklahoma City Thunder. So easy W's.
Easy dubs.
And then they play the Mavs, and then they play the Lakers, and then they play the Knicks, and then they play the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That's gonna be
I
fun.
feel a lot better after that little meme, as well as the Bulls beat the Lakers. So
The Bulls beat the Lakers. Everybody celebrate.
celebrate somehow.
All right. I think that's it for us tonight. 52 wins, still possible. We have to do the math and see, because like if we went 500 from here on out, we would be above 52 wins, right? I think so.
Let's crunch the numbers.
So
I
yeah,
can't do that right now.
I'm gonna do it right now. Everybody has to wait and like the stream while I'm doing math.
82
so
minus 26.
82 minus 26. I don't know why I'm doing that. So then the
54.
23. Oh no, we could go. Wait, that's not possible. Wait, why did you just have me do that? 82 minus, I just did divided by 26. Not divided by. So 56 is how many games are left?
Minus 26.
Minus 26. That makes more sense. Yeah. So there's 56 games left.
Right. So then for 27 and 27, that'd be 57 and 33. Look at us. Subscribe for more math.
I don't know what you just said, but I'm going with it.
52
wins is still possible.
Maybe, yeah.
Somebody else do math for us.
But barely, like 5 games.
So that's not good. But
oh no. A loss of makes us crumble into peril and despair.
Anyways, 52 wins is still possible. Intro as the outro. Late game tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central, I believe.
Whoa.
We will see you. Where's the intro? We will see you tomorrow night. Peace.